Hi there fellow book lovers, I'm Sophie and welcome to my channel. In my last video I told you about some of the books that I've read so far this year. I thought this time I would tell you about the audiobook. I haven't read as many, well I say read, I haven't listened to as many audiobooks as I have read books because I don't have as much time out of the house. So I spend most of my time outside of the house with my audiobooks. So I like to wear my headphones and just walk along the street, and instead of listening to music, I listen to books. Because why not? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the series that I have listened to. I'm going to start with Firstborn Academy because that is the first ever series that I listened to on audiobook, and I have to admit I really, really enjoyed it. It took ages for me to finally agree to listen to an audiobook. Well, I didn't think you could really absorb the story by doing it that way, but it turns out you can. It just depends on the narrator really and how the expressions and the different styles of the characters come across. So as long as you find the right narrator, it should be fine. So Firstborn Academy is a 3-book series and it was written by Isla Frost and narrated by Amanda Dolan. So Amanda Dolan was a good narrator. I definitely recommend her if you want to try it. So the story basically is when magic and dangerous creatures sort of randomly appear into the world, all of humanity has to give up their firstborn child in a way for them to feel protected in a way, because the overlords or overseers is what they call them anyways, they are in charge of protecting them from this big black darkness cloud thing that absorbs your soul basically. So it's not a very nice thing and it's destroying the world really slowly. So in order to feel protected, they have to give up their firstborn child to these overseers in order to gain the protection from them. So yeah, I do feel kind of sorry for the families that have given up their firstborn child. It's not nice. And also, when the firstborn child goes through the different portals, they're never ever seen from or heard from again. So they just do not know what happens. I mean, I think part of them think they're being killed, maybe, but they're not. Obviously, Firstborn Academy, as it says in the title, is where all the firstborns go, is to a type of academy where they learn how to use and control magic in order to try and protect the rest of humanity themselves, really, instead of just relying on the overseers. The humans are even actually being trained to help. So I suppose it's not that bad, but they could have found a different way to recruit them, I suppose. So instead of forcing them, they could have given them the choice, and I'm pretty sure if they'd given the choice, a lot more humans probably would have come forward. Anyway, the main character, Nova, is a really strong-willed character. When she goes through the portal, when she becomes of age, she goes through with the idea that she's going to bring down the overseers and release humanity from this long, long, age-old pact where all the firstborns have to go, because she didn't want to go. But listening to the story, it's just listening to her grow and realise and learn that they're not all bad. I mean, I think she falls in love. She learns that she's got a really strong power, which everybody's afraid of. Well, I suppose, good and bad. You'll have to listen, or you could probably get the physical book as well. So if you wanted to read it as well, I recommend it. I do recommend it. And the next book I listened to was Nightworld Academy. And actually, I've only listened to 3 of the books out of 7, and I've found out that they do actually also have a standalone book, which is like book 5.5. I think it's funny how they put the point there. It was written by L.J. Swallow and was actually narrated by 2 people. four. So you got one female, which is Sarah L. Colton, and then the second one was a male called Steve Campbell. So they didn't just stick to the male parts for Steve and the female parts for Sarah. They actually both did both parts. So it was quite funny listening to the bloke trying to be a girl and the girl trying to be a guy. But it was really good, and I followed the story brilliantly. And to be honest, I have I have bought the fourth book out of the series. I'm just working my way to getting the rest of them, and then I can listen to all of them. I'll probably start again from the beginning because it is that good. But Nightworld Academy is an academy for witches. But it's also an academy for vampires and shifters. They each have a house named for one house for witches, one for vampires, and so on. So when Maeve goes into the school and she's put in the house for witches, she doesn't actually realise she's in a house for witches because she doesn't believe that magic exists. She doesn't realise that she has magic, and basically everyone has been told in the school to hide it from her for as long as possible because they want to see. They want to wait until she's ready to tell her, but is anybody really ever ready? And the way she finds out, well, probably wasn't the best way anyway, so they probably should have just told her from the start, in my opinion. But she does find out that she alone has actually a very rare, powerful magic, which she alone can wield. I mean, there's nobody else with that power. So it's difficult for her because not only has she been thrown into the school and all this new stuff like magic, all these Nightwilders, they're all called, hence Nightworld Academy. And then she finds out that she's got a rare magic that no one else has, and she has to try and figure out how to use it. Well, near enough by herself, really, because if nobody else has that magic, then how are they supposed to teach her to use it? That's difficult, and I I felt for her big time when I was listening to it. After a while, she does realise that her and her friends and well, all the Nightworld, all all of the Nightworlders really are in danger, and the humans are in danger, and her and her friends have to try and find a way to protect them. Of course, I don't know how it ends up because I haven't finished it yet. So, yeah, she finds love. Well, three times actually, one from each house, which is quite funny. And one of the teachers as well, she feels really close to, and he's really alluring. And oh, I like him, but at the same time, I don't. He's one of those characters, love hate characters. Sometimes you love him, and other times you're like, really? But it's it's a good read. I definitely recommend listening to it or reading it if you want to get the paperback version. The next book I want to talk to you about is Demigods Academy. It's a 3-book series, and it was written by Elisa S. Amore and Kira Legend. It's narrated again by two different narrators, one female, one male. So Vanessa Moyen, I think you pronounce it. I'm not too sure, so I really apologise if that's wrong. And Stephen Dexter. Again, both very good narrators. I felt the feelings and the emotions from the characters coming through, and I felt the intensity of it. It was good. I did finish this set. It's good. Basically, on the 18th birthday, everybody in the entire world gets given a shadow box. Well, I say given, it just appears for them. And it's really special because the shadow box is actually sent by the gods, Zeus and all the Greek gods. I love all that stuff. So I've actually got Star-Crossed, which is another set by Josephine Angelini, which is amazing, and that's all based very loosely, like on Helen of Troy. Most of the people who receive a shadow box basically just get like a nice birthday message, happy birthday, you know. But and they're select for you, they get given a surprise. And the surprise basically it causes them to disappear. I think that not straight away, obviously they disappear in the night, and then they're not seen from again. So of course people want the surprise, but at the same time I think they're a bit scared. People have theories what the surprise is, and I think it's a present from the gods, and only really, really special people can get it. Actually, it turns out to be true, but I don't exactly know how. When Melanie doesn't get her box, she decides to take a peek in somebody else's, and somebody else's box turns out to actually have the gift in, so she actually uses that gift for herself. So stealing it, basically. That's what she thought, anyway. Anyway, she takes that place in the Demigods Academy, which is a place where Zeus and the other gods teach the students different ways to control powers. They do trials to see what god they're descended from, basically, because the only people that get to go into the academy are demigods. So if you're not a demigod, then you don't get the gift. Anyway, they go through the trials, and they're being trained to become one of the gods' army, and it's to protect the humans from some mysterious force, which you will find out about. The enemy's a little bit closer than you'd have thought. I loved this set. So much love, and there's loss. I cried, I laughed. Oh, it was beautiful. It was a lovely book. I really, really do recommend it. In fact, I do actually recommend all of the audiobooks I've read this year because they are all amazing. The one that I'm currently reading, the one that I'm currently listening to, Days of the Academy, I'm now on the last book. There's 4 of them, but they're all narrated into one book, basically. So I can just listen to it all straight, which is great. And it's written by Hal Carpenter and narrated by Stacey Glenboski. So Days of the Academy is a school for supernaturals and shifters. They are brought in, they're trained to control their powers. That's basically it, really. They're just basically there to control their powers. But Selena is the oldest of triplet girls, and she and her sisters brought up with humans near enough. Since her parents died, they were pushed into the human world and they were living in foster care, which I do relate to a bit because I was a foster child for many, many years. So anything like that I do relate to, and I do feel it a lot. But because they were living with the humans, they believed that the supernaturals had abandoned them, which is understandable. I mean, they haven't hid their powers, and they're only children. But the story follows Selena, basically. She finds her aunt, and they move in with her aunt, and then they're sent to Days of the Academy, where they're learning to control their powers. But Selena is hiding a very, very powerful gift. She thinks will get her killed if anybody finds out about it. I'm not going to tell you what does happen, but that doesn't happen. But she spent her life hiding her gift and protecting her sisters. When she joins the academy and finds out how much danger everybody's in, the demons and then the vampires as well, she then has to embrace her power and her gift and learn to control it in order to save the world, basically humans, supernatural shifters, everybody from the vampires that are plotting to destroy everything. Vampires want to be known, and obviously that's not allowed in any book I've known really about vampires. That always kept secret. But they don't want to be kept secret. They want to be known by the world, and they will do anything to make sure that happens. Where Selena comes in, she's there to stop it. And again, I am on the last book, but I haven't finished it yet, so I'm still waiting for that big ending. I can tell you what happens at the end. Anyway, that is all of the books I have listened to so far this year. It's been a great year so far. I'm really looking forward to the next one, as I have already got a few lined up that I will go through my TBR list in my next video so that you can decide for me which ones I can read one way. Anyways, Thank you so much for watching, and please, please, please don't forget to like and subscribe.